Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Gurudev ki. Jai. Shri Gurudev ki. Jai. Are you sleeping? Shri Gurudev ki. Jai. Well, I'd like to begin by saying that I'm sleeping because I came back from Delhi very late last night. And I'm not really a person for like pinning down my faults and writing very eloquently. I was thinking that for this occasion I would, but as usual, with my nature of being a procrastinator, the time ran out, so here I am without anything written in front of me. I thought I'd share just remembrances that I've had with Gurudev, just touching on different points. And I think that the first time I saw Srila Gurudev was in the summer of 1972 in John F. Kennedy Airport in New York. And at that time, Srila Gurudev was leaving with his best friend Bhagavan Das to go to France and to start spreading the Krishna consciousness movement in France. I remember seeing Gurudev, a very tall and a very skinny fellow, but very effulgent, as was our friend Bhagavan Das, a very effulgent, beautiful preacher of Krishna consciousness. That's the first time I saw, and I thought, these people, they look so special. You know. He went to France with Bhagavan Prabhu, and they started preaching, and it was great. It was really a wonderful thing that happened. Beautiful temples and millions of Srila Prabhupada's books distributed. Gurudev was a Sankirtan man. He used to go out and distribute Prabhupada's books. He loved distributing Prabhupada's books. Later he would tell me amazing stories about how Krishna would always make special arrangements for him to distribute books in the most unusual circumstances. And they always seemed like fairy tales, what he would tell me. But as I've seen the course of his life develop, I've seen that Krishna always does work these miracles in his life because he's so devoted to the order of his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Second time we met up, it was a great inflection point in the history of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It was in 1979, and at that time, ISKCON was just at the point of institutionalizing a process which was called the zonal acharya system that would bring ISKCON practically to its brink in the mid-80s. And I was the happy cook and pujari at ISKCON Vrindavan. When I came in 77, I was here for one day. Then they made me the chief cook. And people say that I did a good job. When Srila Prabhupada passed away, 3 days after he passed away, I became the pujari at his samadhi. And I would do all the sevas from morning till night. But we heard that in the Western countries, this phenomena was happening. And we all have one very respected and very senior godbrother. His name is Indradumna Prabhu. He was known as Srila Prabhupada's Panditji. Shrutakirti Prabhu told me that Indradumna Prabhu was majorly responsible for the work on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in Indradumna Prabhu's infinite wisdom, he wrote a letter to the GBC saying, this system will fail, and we cannot support this system. And all of us residents, the inmates of Krishna Balaram Mandir, we signed that letter. And lo and behold, before our leaders went to Mayapur that year to install this system, they came to Vrindavan. Was anybody in the audience present at that time? You were there, Prasanatma? 79. It was a real crucifixion. We won't go into the details, but it was sort of like ISKCON at its worst. And I had one of my most respected godbrothers who had been a servant of His Divine Grace for some years. He told me that I was an offender. And I said, why is that? And he said, you're an offender because you did not understand. You're an offender to Srila Prabhupada. I said, why is that? And he said, because you didn't realize that by the moving of Prabhupada's hand, he turned our godbrothers into Paramahamsa Uttama Adhikaris. And because that servant was so dear to Srila Prabhupada, and I took his words so closely to heart, I went, oh my God, now I've offended my spiritual master. And I had read a letter from Srila Prabhupada to one of our other dear godbrothers, and who thought that he had offended Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, I do not consider what you've done to be an offense. But if ever an offense is committed, the best way to atone for that is to enthusiastically preach Krishna consciousness. So being a very gullible person, but taking Prabhupada's instructions to heart, I decided I had to leave Vrindavan, and I had to go preach. And I was thinking, where to go? I don't know where to go. And then one of my friends said, there's this very effulgent leader from France, and he has a great zone. You should go and work with him. So with great trepidation, I found my way into the guest house of Krishna Balaram Mandir, and I remember going to the room of this GBC man, knocking on his door and getting invited in. And he was sharing the room with a newly minted, effulgent sannyasi. You won't remember that. But I walked in the room, and like Maharaj and I, we always say, we've been through thick and thin. Because sometimes we've been very thin, and sometimes we've been very thick. I remember I walked in, he was still trying to figure out after Mayapur how to tie a sannyasi dhoti. But I remember Bhagavan, he said, Indradumna Maharaj, this is Ayodhya Pati. And he turned, and with that big smile that he had, something happened. And I knew that this is a person that I was destined to do a lot with in my life. So I left Vrindavan and served in the Southern European zone. we used to have super fantastic festivals over there. And in 1979, for the birthday of Bhagawan Prabhu, we all met at Mayapur. Something happened. It was like, I'm not very good at physics or quantum mechanics. These things I didn't study too much. Or nuclear fission or whatever. But there's something about a couple of isotopes coming together and making a huge explosion. And that's when Indradumna Maharaj and I think we had our first kirtans together. And it was a real meltdown experience. And it went on like that. I served and I helped to pioneer countries like Greece and Israel. But then I would go to the Southern European zone when I had to do work and so on. We would always meet up. And then by Krishna's divine arrangement, something very nice happened in the summer of '84. And what that was is he had become the president of La Nouvelle Mayapur. And there was a big, fantastic Gurukula in La Nouvelle Mayapur. And it's probably one of the only Gurukulas in ISKCON where we didn't have problems. In fact, we had no problems at New Mayapur. And Indradumna Maharaj was temple president. I had been requested by my friend, the Minister of Education, to help with the Gurukula, and particularly help with teenage boys, because they were all coming into that stage where they were becoming men, and they needed to have friends. So between myself and Indradumna Swami at New Mayapur that year, it was just a party. It was Guru Puja kirtans that were 3 hours long, and feasts that were out of this world, and it was wonderful. But then later, roles changed. Maharaj wasn't the temple president anymore. He began traveling with Bhagawan Prabhu. And I started traveling throughout the European zone, helping to manage standards for deity worship and cooking. It was a very hard task because you can never convince an Italian that paneer butter masala is better than pizza. But then we were brought together again. We were always meeting up. And whenever we met up, it was like those nuclear particles coming together with explosions and kirtan, and so much fun, and so much friendship. And then there was another inflection point, and that happened in September of '86, when our dear friend Bhagawan Das decided to retire from his duties. And because we were all so close to Bhagawan, we were thinking, oh my goodness, what will happen now? And I remember that although there was so much worry and there was so much consternation, we decided amongst ourselves that we would just stay together through thick and thin in this life and just support one another until hopefully some prema bhakti would come out. Remember that? Sitting in Bhagawan's room with the telephone in front of us, you know, what will we do? And we decided we'll remain friends. We always thought in a very romantic way, like Narottam, Srinivas, and Shamananda, being such tight friends in the preaching movement, although we were nothing like that. And then we were left without jobs. It was a very interesting phenomenon. The French yatra started to disintegrate. And I remember Srila Gurudev and I thought, what can we do to help repair the situation? And we thought, what we'll do is we'll go to Paris, we'll rent an apartment, we'll just start preaching, trying to build up the society again. And when we presented that to the French Yatra, they said, no, we don't want any more Americans here. Please go away. So then, what to do? So at that time, I had been to Vrindavan during Kartik in '86, and I decided I was going to shift back to Vrindavan and serve over here. And Gurudev, he wanted to travel, and he wanted to preach. So we began collecting some money, and then '87 came, and that's the first time we took a long trip together. And we went to South Africa for, gosh, between South Africa and Mauritius, it was like 2 months. Gurudev started organizing his South African festivals at that time, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Then I came back to Vrindavan, and Gurudev and I decided that we would do a big festival over here. But then his trajectory changed, and he started traveling the world. And it was nonstop. It was just incessant traveling, sharing Harinam, sharing the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, endearing people to the message that we had learned from Srila Prabhupada. There was a point in there, oh yeah. Then 1989 came. And that summer, Gurudev and I decided that we were going to travel together by train. We got on the train in Paris. We went to the very south of Spain. We crossed from Gibraltar, we went to Ceuta. We stayed there, we came back. Then we traveled by train from Spain across to what was then Yugoslavia. Remember that? That summer it was about 45 degrees in Europe. And we were like riding in the train trying to live. And it was definitely hard. We got to Yugoslavia, they said, let's go in Harinam. We said, this is a communist country. They said, no, you just go with your pants and shirt and wear a wig. So I remember going out, was it Belgrade? Is that Yugoslavia, part of that country? We went up Belgrade on Harinam, pants and shirt with wigs on, so people wouldn't know we were devotees. Then we went to Bulgaria, which was really hardcore Soviet Union, and met the devotees there. Then we took a train from there up to Czechoslovakia. And now I think that's divided, Czech and Slovak, I don't know. But remember we went to this little tiny farm, and there were some devotees there who were new devotees, but they were so devoted, and we were having kirtan. Gurudev was giving so many wonderful classes, and I was cooking. Gurudev said, cook a feast that will kill them. I cooked a feast, and then Gurudev and I were serving, and serving, and serving, and these poor devotees were like, if they'd put one more morsel in their mouth, their bellies would have popped. And then the next day they did it to us. Remember? They cooked prasad according to their standard at that time. And they made us eat. There was one Mataji who was really huge. I called her Super Mataji. She could convince me and Gurudev to eat more when there was no room for anything. Then we left that place and we went to Poland. And that was another inflection point. because we went to some farm. What is that farm called? It's in the valley. Huh? Went to New Shantipur. It was a temple under construction with like wood plank floors. We had kirtans so powerful, jumping on those wood plank floors that we were on trampolines, and we'd fly into the air. But the inflection point was this. When we left that place, we had to go by some super ridiculous little Soviet Union car all the way to East Berlin and then cross over into West Berlin. And when Gurudev was traveling through the Polish countryside, he started developing his ideas. We should have a festival here, and we should bring these people to Krishna consciousness. And that was 1989. Did you start in 90? 1990, he started the Polish festival. And according to my poor powers of arithmetic, that's 34 years now. And in those 34 years, we've seen it from traveling around in like a little Volkswagen Bug to like the huge, massive festival that it is now. And I have seen with my eyes generations of devotees grow up from Poland, from Ukraine, from Russia, and the only thing they live for is to be on Gurudev's festival in every summer in Poland. Gurudev did the Polish Woodstock, massive, participated, massive preaching success, distributing literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of plates of Krishna Prasad, having such beautiful cultural performances, bringing in international artists, and now it has become so refined that he has a team of dedicated devotees who are better than the professionals. They present so many dramas that are extraordinary. Gurudev has really taken to essence that teaching of Srila Prabhupada. Always be kind. Always do something for someone else. Always try to give Krishna consciousness. Always show love. Always show compassion. Always have humanity in all of your dealings. And he's really adopted that as his life model. There's no one in this room who hasn't been touched by the kindness of Gurudev. Not one person. And he continues. If it's not Poland, then it's Sadhu Sangha in America, which is like the biggest festival for nourishing Vaishnavas in North America. He doesn't live in North America. He's lived outside of North America for 52 years. But he's organized a festival over there where this last year you had 3,500 people. 3,500 people from all over North America. They come just to sit focused in Harinam Sankirtan for 3 days nonstop. Because it's so nourishing. He's organized this Rishikesh festival. You know, we did, like, first festival was when pandemic came and we had to wait, but now he's done again. Thousands and thousands of young people, they come. They've gone to Rishikesh to try to find something, but they don't know what in the world they're looking for. And all day they either do some asanas or they hear some dry Mayavad philosophy. And then they come into the atmosphere that Srila Gurudev has created in the evening, and something happens to them. You see them in kirtan, tears flowing down their face, taking Krishna Prasadam, Ladies are being given beautiful saris, gopi dots. I mean, it's just always being kind to people, being loving to people, being compassionate to people, being humane with everyone that he meets. And they say that the real metal of a man is that he sticks to his values despite whatever else may be going on in the society. And there have been times, and those times are now, where people, they like to criticize, they like to pull down, they like to point the finger, but it doesn't distract Gurudev. He stays fixed on that principle. Show love, give compassion, be humane, teach people the science of Krishna. So for me, it's an honor to be with such a great person. We know Gurudev's joking nature, we know his sweet nature, but he's a spiritual master. And the Shastra explains that we should see the spiritual master as a representative of God. And materially, because we have these bodies which are made out of matter, of course sometimes, perhaps we make a mistake. But still, he is the representative of God. And devotees should see their spiritual masters in that way. So here I'm with Gurudev today. We're lifelong friends, and he's put up with me a lot. You know, we've been together through thick and thin. We're like brothers. Sometimes we've had quarrels, sometimes we've had love. But after 50 years, practically speaking, we're still together, and I'm deeply thankful for that. And you know, it's like I can stand here and glorify Gurudev because it's natural. Each and every one of us want to say something nice about a Vaishnava. That's just like Burijan Prabhu told me recently. He said, when you speak nicely about Vaishnavas, those are kathas that expand your heart. He said, when you speak ill of a Vaishnava, those are the talks that constrict your heart. So we love Gurudev, and we love standing here glorifying him. But I'd like to just take a step beyond Gurudev, just to glorify those who Gurudev has created. I have to catch my breath. Rasika and Govinda Charan. Rasika Govinda Charan Prabhu's ki. Yeah. You're sleeping again. Rasika Govinda Charan Prabhu ki. Yeah. That little lady in Poland, what's her name? Nandini Devi Dasi ki. Yeah. Jayadev Prabhu ki. Yeah. Manjula Devi Dasi ki. Hey, Manjula Devi Dasi ki. He has such a team around him that loves him so much, and they facilitate his service so much. So we should be thankful to Gurudev, and we should be thankful for those wonderful Vaishnavas that he has created who are helping him to spread the mission of our divine spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, throughout the world. Gurudev is a story of excellence. Just like the other day, I went for the opening of Govinda Temple. And another story of excellence, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, taking to his heart the instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave. Prasanatma Prabhu said earlier, the standard of success, books distributed. Gopal Krishna Maharaj has been responsible for distributing millions of books in different languages. Temples established. Gopal Krishna Maharaj has in Delhi alone, he's opened 20 temples maybe. And this Rohini temple, I encourage you all, when you pass Delhi, go see Rohini temple, and you will see something that you have never seen in your life before. And devotees made. That was Prabhupada's third criteria. Gurudev has made thousands of devotees around the world, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj has made thousands of devotees throughout the world. These are real people. These are real spiritual masters. These are real shining lights in the darkness of the night of Kali Yuga. And we should all show our infinite respect and our infinite love to them for their seva. Thank you very much. Gurudev Ki. Gurudev Ki. Gurudev Ki. And it would be remiss if I did not toss Panchagoda in there. You have been the rock of ISKCON Vrindavan for over 30 years. And whenever I meet nice, influential Indian friends from around the world, they always tell me this ISKCON Vrindavan is a jewel, because when you go there, everything is just perfect. You know, they say the artwork is perfect, the cleanliness is perfect, the puja is perfect, the kirtan is perfect. Hasn't been easy for Panchagoda either, but he's a man who has stuck to his convictions to do the best that he can for his divine grace. Thank you, Panch. Hare Krishna. Panchagoda Prabhu Ki. Srila Indradumna Swami Maharaj Ki. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Guru Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Go Premanandi. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sham. Sorry I took so much time.
Gurudev often says that when Govinda Maharaj cooks, it's like gold. So the Gurudev always says that when Govinda Maharaj cooks, it's like gold. When he sings, it's like gold. And when he speaks, especially, it's like gold. So we